Tippy tie, my damies, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 4 of Reviewedly Interrupted with me, your host, Pootie Tang. Sucking on a nicotine lozenge, quitting them cigarettes. Gotta love it. Oh my god. In this episode, Critters 4. This movie is pretty darn interesting for different reasons, which we will go over when we go through my notes. Me trying to be all more for professionalism is... Alright, Critters 4 came out a year later after Critters 3 in 1992. Still PG-13. They've kept the PG-13 thing running straight on through so far. Hour and 27 minutes long, so, you know, it's a cooking. It's a quick one. No 2.5 hour, like, epic. They're just like... This is that fast direct-to-video time when it was like direct-to-video was really kind of happening more. So it's like you saw a lot of these movies that like they were pumping out, they weren't given a big budget to, and they were really just wanted them to be kind of quick. They didn't want a lot of editing time, not a lot of shooting time, and all this other kind of shit. So it's just like, you know what, just get it out there, something quick, something that we can just hopefully bombard people with and get their money, and they'll still be entertained or whatever. And what's cool about this one, we are finally in space. We're not starting in space and then there's a little intro, there's a little prologue, and then boom, we're on Earth. No. They flipped the script on this one. Little prologue on Earth and boom, we're in space. The Krites came from space. This entire fucking time we're dealing with aliens. Remember this. This isn't just creatures from the pits of the Earth and everything. These are space aliens from the beginning. And now finally in the fourth movie, we've made it into space for one of these. It's kind of funny to me. It took 4 movies to get these fuckers doing shit in space. Like, really in space for the movie. And let's go over the cast. Cast is small. Here's just, like, some of the mains that I'm like, this is pretty cool. Of course, Don Keithopper back as Charlie. It's awesome. Terrence Mann returns as Ugg, and we will get into this Ugg a little bit later. Anders Hove, I'm pretty sure, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but some of you might know him from the Full Moon Subspecies vampire series, which is pretty cool. It's a very different kind of dealio, and I thought it was pretty cool. He plays Radu, this just total asshole vampire, and he plays an asshole in this too. Angela Bassett, pretty wild, right? Angela Bassett is in Critters 4, this kind of lower budget sequel up in space. This is great. Brad Dourif. Enough said. Don't even gotta say anything else. Brad Dourif. Directed by Rupert Harvey, which IMDb says this is the only movie ever directed by Rupert. So I mean, you got your stamp out there, and it's for different reasons. This is a special movie, so good job. And the little nice, in case you missed it, like end credit from part 3, like where it was playing under the credits, is now the intro. They're just like, hey, you know what, we need an intro for this. Well, how about the outro of the other one? All right. Boom. And okay, there's something about this movie that's like kind of, it like puts it in this very small little niche with some other movies. This is Critters 4, where they are now in space. It takes place in space. There's a couple other movies that follow that same formula. Leprechaun 4. Yes, the 4th movie in that franchise takes place in space. Leprechaun in space. Leprechaun 4 in space. That's what it's fucking called. And also Hellraiser 4. Hellraiser Bloodline, the 4th movie, also takes place like half and half in space in the future and all this other kind of shit. So there's like this tiny little niche of like fourth movies in the franchise, you know, the third sequels taking place in space. That's a small little thing. And I did giggle at Brad Dourif's name being Albert. It's like, that is so dorky and it's funny. And we noticed off the bat, you know, we probably felt it a little bit maybe at the end of 3 when it showed that little end sequence, and that now became the beginning of part 4. There's something a little different about Ugg. Something a little different. We're getting a different vibe from him. He's not as warm. I mean, he wasn't like totally warm, but there was this some kind of a little bit of warmth about him in the other movies where it's like, you felt like, okay, this guy's cool. You're starting to feel a little iciness. And what I love is it's not only in space but in the future. It's like, fuck it, we're gonna take it into space finally. Well, you know what? We're going into the future also. Love it. I wrote down here the stock ensemble cast, where you got the dreamer kid that just wants to, it's like he's a dreamer and he's got like he wants to get home, he wants to do this stuff, and he will do whatever it takes, and he's almost got this innocence about him. But the dreamer kid, the nerdy tech, like the kind of nerdy, snarky, sarcastic guy that's like really good with the tech stuff and computers. The dickhead captain, and I'm telling you what, he is a real fucking motherfucker. I ain't mincing any words about this shit. And then there's the strong, sexy chick, where Angela Bassett is supposed to be the strong, tough chick, but she's also like sexy. So it's like you got your female that just encompasses the strong female, but also the sexy female part. And then you got the tough guy jerk. He's kind of like a jerk. He's like he gets along kind of with everybody, but he's kind of like a dick, but he's not like uber dick like Captain. He's just kind of like, oh god, why does this guy got to be a dick? But like that. And one thing I love about, like, you see it in Star Wars even. I'm gonna say you see it in Star Wars, but the gibberish future space language where it's like, hey, here's the alphabet or whatever, and it's like that just looks like a bunch of shit that they just crammed together. It looks like the goddamn zodiac ciphers. That's what language is in the future, is just going to be the zodiac ciphers. I'm fucking 100% positive, because every goddamn sci-fi movie is like, you know what? We don't have to make this gibberish. We can just put it in fucking English, because who gives a shit? Nobody's going to be asking questions about these fake space aliens from the future if they have a human language. It's like, let's just put gibberish fucking symbols and be like, this is, and everybody can read it. Everybody but us. So, and then, like, Ugg kind of pops in again there, where he's like, hey, I'm working for TerraCorp now. It's like, what the fuck, Ugg? We can tell right now. Ugg sold out. That son of a bitch sold out. And then there was a little bit of butt cheeks and some side boob, which means that even though, like, with the last movie that was PG-13, where they went, like, a very soft PG-13, this one didn't get, like, a hard PG-13. I don't even know what the fuck that would be. But, there's a little bit of butt cheeks and a little bit of that, where it's like they returned, where they're like, remember old school PG-13, where you'd say fuck like 3 times, shit like a half dozen times, and you might show a nipple, and it'd be like, oh my god, it's fun for the whole family except for this part. But like, it's kind of weird, like, how movies, like, if you watch a lot of things with movies around a certain time period, and you watch the special features, like with the whole MPAA and a lot of, like, ratings, how they were trying to get their movies into theaters, or just certain cuts of it, and all this other kind of stuff. It's like, it made things weird, where there wasn't, like, this real consistency of, like, this type of movie is definitely rated this, So, I don't know. It's just kind of weird, this fluctuation with the movie ratings, and, like, what was shown in movies and what wasn't, and how far they would go with it. Like this was like butt cheeks real quick and side boob. But then back in part 2, which was also PG-13, it's like when Lee changed into the chick from the centerfold and everything, there was like titties for a minute there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and this was over the, like, what, the span of 5 years, 6 years and everything. So it's like, the movie rating thing just made movies kind of weird how they did stuff. I don't know. And maybe they just decided to be like, okay, we'll be a little more risque, but we still want to keep it soft. That's probably what it was. I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it. They were just like, I don't know. I'm baked. I'm rambling. Remember? I used to do this all the time. And I wrote down, very limited cast, not many sets. You'll notice that it's like they don't have a lot of different sets. So definitely a much smaller budget. You can tell. They got some people that with some names that people will recognize in there. Like, but you can tell because it's like they're recycling a lot of the same sets. You know that when they're doing the hallway scenes, they're just moving stuff a little bit to make it seem like it's a much bigger place. Yeah, and like very limited cast, very limited cast. Even from the beginning, when it's like the end of part 3, end of part 4, they're not showing any of the other cast. They're just Charlie and then the little thing of Ugg. So it's like you could tell that for this one they got it made, but they did not get a very big budget to make it, but they did a great job with some stuff, which I think I get into here soon. I wrote down that Captain Uber Asshole, or Assface, Captain Uber Assface is more unredeemable than Ahab. He is such a bastard that you look at him and you're like, dude, like I'll take the crazy fucker chasing the white whale over you because you are a total cocksucker. I mean, he does a really good job of playing a total motherfucker in this. I like the makeup effects that they did for the captain's death, where it's like the little krite like climbs into his mouth and is trying to eat its way into his like fucking head through his mouth. Like, I like that they did a really good job of the makeup on that. You can tell that even though they had a smaller budget, their set decoration, which I wrote later somewhere, but their set decoration and their special effects, like they didn't really do one for Ponytail Dude, but like some special effects. But for a lot of the other stuff, they kept the krites looking pretty damn good, and just a lot of the other stuff. That's where they spent their money, the sets and everything else. And it's good because it's like, if you can't have a big cast and you can't do all this other kind of stuff, and the CGI computer stuff is so old school then, but it's like, if you can't spend all your money on like this big cast, this and that, blah blah blah, put it in the fucking sets, put it in the special effects, put it in the stuff that's going to entertain people. Then have a small cast, put all that money in the special effects. I love them, always will. And I love how it's like Charlie pops out of that shit, boom, 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 Captain dies. Charlie gets a gun right off the bat. Remember how it's like what was it, part 2? It's like he's running around and shit, but they like didn't give him a gun, but he's a bounty hunter. Well, this time he pops right in there. He's like figuring it out. He's like, dude, I got a gun. I gotta be on my guard. And then he becomes like, even though he still has his moments of being like, you know, klutzy and everything, this movie, he really for like a lot more of the movie, becomes a full-fledged heroic lead, which I thought was cool. It's like, instead of like later on near the end of the movie where it's like, okay, well now it's the last 20-25 minutes, now we need Charlie to be the hero. No, it's like, man, he's like the fucking hero. He knows what's going on. He's the guy that knows. All these other fuckers have no clue, but he's like, nah, dude. And he becomes like, you know, a little bit bumbling still, but more of the heroic lead, which I'm like, big ups to Charlie. Yeah, there we go. Bigger cast, you know, focus on the set design and everything. I went over that. See, it's like some of my notes go together, but I make them and it's like I got to skip around. I don't know. It's how I do things. When Charlie gets the reality of his situation, that he's spent 50 plus years in stasis and he's now 50 years in the future and everybody he knows is probably dead. Like, it's harsh. You can see it in his eyes. It's like a lot, because he's like, dude, but he's always kind of been a loner. So he accepts it. He's not happy with it, but he accepts his fate. And he's like, well, if that's the way things are, then I have to live with that. And I have to move on. And right now we have to kill Kreitz. So it's like, Charlie is such the fucking man in this movie. It is so awesome. So awesome. If you're a fan of the Critters franchise, you gotta love Charlie, and you gotta love the fact that he gets his fucking... This is Charlie's movie. This really is Charlie's movie. We find out that there's been nefarious corporate science going on. Of course there is, for military stuff and everything else, because you can't trust science. Yes, this is my water glass. I use this big fucking Stein as my water glass because I drink a lot of water. But, you know, of course, you know, you can't trust science because it's the devil's magic, as we call it in this household. No science here. Huh. No devil's black magic in here. Science. But yeah, it's like kind of funny because it's like, of course, you know, there's always like, well, no, this is the movie where it kind of switches. It's almost like how in like what they did with the Aliens franchise, where it's like, okay, there's some shit going on. You do find that there's some corporate shit kind of going on, and like around like part 2, part 3, but definitely like as it goes on, it's like it follows the same formula where it's like, okay, there's these evil creatures, but they could be used as weapons, so we should definitely do that. So it follows that same kind of thing. I thought it was pretty cool, that little thing in there, because it's one of the sci-fi movie cliches, but it's okay because it's cool. It's like how zombie movies, it's like, oh my god, science has done us wrong and created zombies and now they're eating everybody. Sometimes you just gotta like throw something in there where it's like, we want science to be good, but we know that there's like sometimes a downside to science. And it's fun to be like, because the layperson doesn't know a lot about science. I don't know, I know some science stuff. Like, I'll read up on some stuff and kind of learn some stuff, but it's like, as far as a deep knowledge into science, like, I don't know, dude. I can surmise, I can reason, but that doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about. So it's like, it's still like an unknown. So you throw that in there, and then you throw it in with like, okay, yeah, because, you know, the fear of people doing nefarious things. Gotta love it. And of course, the guy with the ponytail has a drug problem. He wants to get in that pharmacy and get them pills. And I do love how we finally return to having a guy with a ponytail in the movie. Because, you know, in Critters 1, Billy Zane, ponytail. Takes all the way till part 4, then we finally get a second ponytail. I mean, that's quite the gap in ponytails. But that's okay, because you really don't need that many dudes with ponytails running around in sci-fi horror movies. Every once in a while, you know, you don't want to overdo it. It's like adding too much flavor. You add too much flavor, it's overwhelming, and it's too much. And then I love how the future space people act like they're smarter and better, but we all know that Charlie is the man. Like I was saying, it's like they're like, oh man, and like they're stressing about the ship when Charlie like kills one of the Krites, because he knows these Krites are fucking terrible. They grow bigger and bigger, hungrier and hungrier. They eat fucking everything. Plus, they're smart. They know how to fly ships. They are an intelligent alien species that's just ornery as hell. You know? So I love how like they're like, oh, Charlie, you dumbass. Now the ship won't fly. It's like, no, you don't understand. Yeah, that sucks. Ship won't fly, but we have a bunch of these motherfuckers running around here. They are going to kill all of us if we don't kill them. So yeah, ship doesn't run. You're welcome. I just saved your lives a little bit more. You know, so it's like, I saw that and I was like, you know what? Fuck those space people. It's like, Charlie, you did, no. I would have been like, dude, yeah, okay. Good job. We'll get this figured out, but we need to kill those motherfuckers or figure something out, because this is horrible. The intelligent, remember, they're intelligent. That sometimes people forget that. Like, these are very intelligent creatures. They can fly ships. They know what they're doing. They're using the fucking board and the thing. Use the science for their evil deeds, of course. They figure it out, and they're like, we can grow our babies quicker and faster and bigger and angrier and get like and stomp some shit. And then you see later on they're plotting a course back to Earth. These motherfuckers want to go back there because they're like, dude, Earth has a lot of cool shit that we can like eat, so we should do that again. You know, so it's like they're setting a course for they're fucking flying the ship. They're using the nefarious science project for their own evil deeds. It's like, goddamn. And then we find out that for sure Ugg has become a corporate lackey. A corporate lackey dickhole, I said. Remember, he started off as a bounty hunter. So, I mean, was it like he was like a hero guy that was going out and righting wrongs and always busting like supervillains and stuff? No, he was a bounty hunter. You know, so it's not like he was probably the most stand-up guy to begin with. He was cool, but he was always kind of on this fringe thing where it's like, you know, if anybody in this whole ensemble of bullshit was going to turn, it was probably going to be Ugg. Because, like, money. He was a bounty hunter. He did it for fucking money, dude. He wasn't doing it for, like, probably, like, the good of stuff. Nah, it was about the money, so. I love how, like, his two, like, because they could only get 2 or 3 guard guys. I love how Albert called him stormtroopers. You know, throwing another little Star Wars reference in there. I thought that was kind of funny. It's like, you know, why not throw a little Star Wars in there? Because like, there's a bunch of shit sprinkled throughout this movie, which is a lot of like typical kind of stuff that happens in different sci-fi horror or just sci-fi movies, which they sprinkle it throughout, and it's pretty cool. You know, it made a solid movie. It's not like it was so overt that it was like, God damn. But the stormtroopers thing was funny because they actually look like black samurai stormtroopers. The way their helmets are and everything, they're very samurai-esque and everything. But I put down, they look like the team that takes paintball way too seriously. Their guns kind of look like paintball guns. Their masks are definitely like you're out playing paintball, like how they have those kind of masks and everything with the goggles and everything. So it's like they look like, oh God, those guys are here. They are so annoying. They take paintball way too seriously and they get like really into it and they're wearing like matching uniforms and it's just like ridiculous. Okay. Charlie's reaction after having to shoot Ugg was so great. Don Keith Opper, just his acting, his facial expressions, the way his emotion in that scene was so goddamn good. It was fucking amazing. Because like you saw everything. You saw his sadness, how morose he was at having to kill somebody that he found. It was one of his closest friends. Like he loved that guy like a brother, you know, and having to shoot him, you saw that sadness in having to do it, and you saw his resolve in knowing that he had to do that because he knows he has to do what's right. It's Charlie. It's like he might be bumbling, but his heart is always in the right place and to do the right thing. And so it's like you saw that mix of emotion where it's just like he was upset. Like you could see how upset like he was deep down that a situation like that happened and he had to do what he had to do, and his friend, brother, guy became that guy that he had to shoot. And I like the space explosion. It's like when you watch a movie that takes place in space, there's probably going to be one explosion. It's always like, we're stuck on this ship. We need to get the fuck off this ship because this ship is no longer good and probably going to blow up. Like I said, a lot of stereotypical sci-fi stuff happening in this movie. But I love the explosion because it's like in every one that there's an explosion, it's almost like they try to make it look like more profound or like really big, like it would be really big and like boom boom, and then like you see a shockwave and then like the big boom or something. You know, they always try to make it grandiose. This was like boom, bang, nothing. I was like, dude, that's so great because like they didn't like go like way in your face, or it was like boom boom, yeah, and then that's it, man. Fucking blew up. What more you want? Love it. It's like ba ba how. And then the classic bumbling Charlie ending, I give that 2 thumbs up because it's classic. It's like the next movie didn't come out for like a long time, which we will talk about next time. But like the classic ending where it's like he got his hero movie. He got his total hero movie. Charlie was the fucking man in this one to like up here. You know, so it's like his little bumbling puts on shades, goes, pushes that button, fucking sends him doing goofy shit. It's like, I love that because it's Charlie, man. It's fucking Charlie. I love it. And the outro music was goddamn crazy. I'm going to say it. That outro music to Critters 4 is goddamn crazy. It's like, got boogie woogie piano with boogie woogie fucking violin. And all this shit going on. It's just like, it's a boogie woogie, like, all right, kind of, it's like, what the fuck, but it kind of like harkens back, I guess, to like, you know, the older movies where they did a lot of that kind of music. But like, Critters 4 in space. Gotta love it. They finally make it to space, the 4th movie. And the special features on this is a making of, and a trailer, and a still gallery. As I said, you know, they kind of start dwindling like with the sequels, that because I don't know why they're just like, hey man, why don't we just like pack as much bullshit into these crazy ones that aren't as well known, or people don't know as well because they haven't watched them or whatever. Why not pack a bunch of shit into those too? But I'm hoping that the making ofs shed like even more light on a lot of the stuff, because I'm probably just gonna end up binging like all special features for these. I've been slacking and everything, but on the next episode, I don't know if you've heard about this one. Critters Attack. Yes, it's one that came out. What year just fucking come out? I don't fucking remember, man. Like 2000 something. So it's like way down the road. We do have a return of an older character, but this one is going to be interesting. This one is actually rated R. So, oh my. But I do remember a little bit about it. I've only watched it once so far, but this is going to be on the next episode. And then after that, I'm going to sum up what I think about the whole Critters franchise. So, I think I signed your pity on the running time pretty good this time. And, yeah. So, I'll see you on the next episode when we talk about one more Critters thing. But thank you for joining me on my show, Review the Pootie Tang. All right, I'm out, bitches. See you next time. Whatever.